and welcome to Crew on Cars and welcome to Crew's Garage. In this episode of Project 400 brake horsepower per tonne, I'm going to be fitting some polycarbonate windows to the Subaru Impreza. Okay, first things first, there's 2 screws to remove on the door card, so I'm going to be fitting the rear passenger door glass with replacing it with polycarbonate, a polycarbonate window. Secret cover here that needs to be removed. So there's this little hatch here, this little cover, so just get a flathead screwdriver. Oops. Try not to pop it off like that. Little plastic cover, looks a bit like that if you want to pop it off. Reveal another Phillips head screw, which we're going to undo. Keep a note of where these screws came from because they're not all the same size. So a thicker screw there. I can't remember how to do the rest of this. I've got a feeling that the other secret hideout place is under here somewhere. So for reference, the electric window switch looks like this. Try not to snap off this tag here. You've just got a little pop on the end. So I'll pop off the end bit first. There we go. So, you've got your little fitting here that pops off, and then this is the tag that can easily break off, so make sure you pop the first bit first, lever it up, move that out the way, and then you have secret bolt. Let's get a Phillips screwdriver again, get that bad boy off. Subaru hide these bolts well. It's a little stuck. Use a bit of WD-40. Don't go anywhere without WD-40. This should just pop off. There'll be a number of door pops, so we get the screwdriver. There's a load of little plastic clips to be carefully undone. That didn't sound good. Okay, so disconnect your electric window switch. Very awkward little tab there. Press down and pull off. And then it should lift up and off. Just like this. Corners. Your electric window wire at the way. Oh, forgot. Take off your door handle. Don't want that to be ripped off. There we go. She's away. May have been a couple of casualties in there, but do as I say, don't do as I do. Door's now off. So now you've got this moisture guard, which is glued on in place from factory, and it's glued on with this really nasty, sticky tar stuff that honestly do not get in your carpets. It will not come off, and it's really disgusting. So yeah, be careful, it gets everywhere. Very good at what it does, but once you get it on your carpet, on your clothes, it's very difficult to get off. So be careful about that moisture guard. But from this point on, just going to undo a couple of Phillips screws. Try and preserve the original one. It's going to stay watertight. Ripping it along the glue is a bit easier. You are going to have to unplug this, unfortunately, to get this off. It's not a big deal. There we go. One maintained moisture guard, one stripped door. So to get the windows out, what you're going to need to do is reconnect your electric plug here get the window down to the service position, and then we'll have to undo these bolts. I'm going to strip the whole motor because I'm replacing the whole window to save as much weight as possible, and the runners as well, these will come out, so a lot of these screws will come out as well. It's a good opportunity to re-grease your no doubt rusty door, but yeah, let's get down to it. Get your window switch, plug it back in. It's obviously a good idea to disconnect the battery when you mess around with electronics, so just go and reconnect the battery. Before we go anywhere, you're going to want to make a note of where this screw is, because this is your window stop screw. So if you need to rotate it, or if you need to replace it at any point, make a note of where that is. There's actually a line on there which is pretty handy. You can see that there's a line next to the screw, so I'm just going to get a chalk marker, one of these wet wipe marker, kind of made of chalk. Auto marker, as they're called. You can get them on Amazon or wherever, but make a little mark just across in a horizontal line, just so you know exactly where this position is on your window stop, in case you want to reassemble it. Always a good idea. Right, let's get the window down. What's that not working? Make sure to turn the ignition on, simples. You'll need to turn it on so the accessories are on. Just turning on the initial click won't do enough, so you've got to put the accessories on, get the window down. There we go. And that's as low as the passenger windows go. But you can see we now have access to removing this from the runner. So this is connected to the motor here, this bit, this cross section. Remove this bolt, you get access to this bolt through this handy hole right there. So that's those two. That will remove the motor structure, and then these remove the runners. And the motor's here, sorry. This is a runner bolt, as you can see. So we'll leave those in place for now, these two runners. And then the regulator and the motor bolts are here. Now, all you need for this is 10mm. That'll pretty much get most of the window disconnected. I said 10 and then 12. All you need is a 12mm. That'll get most of this window disconnected. That is not a 10mm. Okay, all you need is a 10mm bolt. That's all you need to get this window off. The first one I had was an 8mm, which is why it wasn't fitting, so third time lucky. Let's get these screws off, make sure you don't lose them in the door. Yeah, like that. You can grab it from the bottom. Now, to get the window out, this is the regulator and it's on the runner. So the regulator attaches to the runner. So I'm going to remove the regulator and you'll see that it moves down a bit. Obviously be careful because the window will drop. And then the other runner here connected to this part of the regulator. Right, now this obviously run up and down freely, but there is one problem, or two problems. First of all, left-hand runner, as you're looking on the passenger side window in the UK, see if you can see that, the left-hand runner will get in the way of that bolt. The bottom one here, yeah. So it's got a little runner and it'll hit the top of that bolt. That's what stops it coming out. So you have to actually remove this left-hand bolt here. On the right hand side, and this is obviously the opposite way around for the other side of the car, this, let's see if we can get a good angle on that. This runner is actually stopped by your stop bolt, so you need to remove your stop bolt in order to get this side out. Right, so stop bolt, I've already marked this, so I know exactly where it goes. This actually just slides down and out the way, which is very handy, so mechanics have clearly thought about that. But it goes from the up position down to the right out the way, so very clever Japanese engineering. Thank you, Subaru. Always good when they make your lives a bit easier. Now this bolt, I believe, is a 12. Let's get the 12. Both of these. So you got these nuts, and then you've actually got Phillips or flathead style screwdriver to undo this bolt here. So you need a flathead that actually undoes the thread which the other bolt is stopping. Now it will push this forwards, but that should be fine. To be honest, I need to undo both of these anyway because I'm removing the motor, so let's do that. Now we've created a gap to get that runner out. There we go. And that's the flathead that I was talking about. If you've lined everything up, this should just come out. Jiggery pokery. There is a certain way to get this out. Right, my window was getting caught on the rubber on the outside. There's a bit of trim on the outside that's hard plastic, so bear that in mind when pulling the window out. But if you pull it out, it should come out of this gap here, and it's got this little roller that's actually on a rotating connector, so that will come out of this place. And then to get the other side out, slide it across, pull it out of the same place here, and that one comes out just like that. One window out. So here is the old window glass, and here is the new polycarbonate window from ACW, also known as Lexan glass, but that is the brand. But you can see how much lighter this is. I'll get the weights up on screen for you. But glass, heavy, polycarbonate, light. So next thing to do now is to actually remove all the window regulator and the window motor. Okay, I've disconnected the battery again, so I can remove the switch. That's a bit of a pain to get this off. There we go. So what I'm going to do is actually remove the runners, because I don't need those anymore. So the runners are attached at the top here. I've already done that one. And there is one at the bottom here. Oops, timber. Right. There's a lesson for you. Maybe don't undo the top ones first. Alright, these are the two bolts that come from the runner. So the runner is now, there's lots of little access holes which makes your life a lot easier taking stuff out. This is one runner, so that's where the window slides up and down, so that's out. Some dead weight, and then these two at the top. There we go. Runner number 2. That's the mark there that we made for the window stop. So yeah, always worth keeping that. Right, it all adds up. Second runner out. Now time to get the motor out. So this is a 10. So you should have 2 here. And these 2 are actually holding in the regulator. Let's just get rid of these first. Alright, let's get the motor ones out. Right, to get the motor out, you need to disconnect. That's the window motor lead. That's the window one. This is the door lock, so that's actually the window motor lead. It's the green one. So undo that. Black one's the door lock, and the blue one, this white one, is for the electric window switch. These are part of the same mechanism. Get these 4 off. So you've got 4 bolts for the motor. And then should just grace this black glue stuff. Right, should just gracefully pull down. Now you can fold the regulator up. I hope you get it out the door. Folds up nice and small. There we go. Regulator first, just like that. There we go. 1 window motor. Here's the regulator I was talking about. Move the window up and down. Here's the motor. Good amount of weight in that, so some extra weight out the door. That's the door, nothing in it. Just the support bar, and that's about it. Now is a good time to remove the old grease and put in some new grease. A can of Old Reliable. Vintage. Clean this up a bit, get a lot of the rust off. Get your old rag. You can feel the end of this on the other side, so you can actually go up through the door. You open the door about 45 degrees, you can get a decent amount of grease on there. Put some WD-40 on the rest of the hinges, because they probably haven't had any love for a long time. Put the door back and forth, work that in. You can really feel how light this door is now that it's been stripped and had the glass taken out. Pièce de résistance. It doesn't have to be high temperature grease, but if you're using the same grease in other areas, especially by the engine, you might as well get a bottle of high temperature grease, or if you're rich, get a bottle of normal grease and a bottle of high temperature grease. Put a nice layer of grease on this because it's probably not going to be looked at for another 26 years. Top tip, grease all sides. No more squeaky doors. Doesn't take much to fix these things. Alright, job done. Next stop, fit the polycarbonate window. You can obviously use this video to replace any glass. It doesn't have to be polycarbonate, so if you need to actually just replace your window glass, this will also do. But polycarbonate, what we're going to do, get your window, get a marker pen. Doesn't have to be permanent. I'm going to leave this blue covering on just so I can draw on it and obviously protect it from any scratches. And I'll remove that at the last moment when I'm happy that everything's in and secure. So slide the window in. Obviously it's going to drop because there's no regulator to hold it there. Close the door. Hold on your hand. Close the door. You should see an imprint of the old window pressed against the rubber here. You can see where the old window is pressed in against it. So what I'm going to do is just line that up where the old imprint is. Get your permanent pen, and I'm just going to mark exactly where the top is going to trace it. So I'm going to trace exactly where, including the little dip here. It's important for helping you line up the window later. Just going to trace exactly where this window sits. So from the other side I can actually see where this window is supposed to go. That'll help me get the position right on the other side. Now what I'm going to do is take your favourite drill bit, and I'm going to mark using these two holes. So one on the left here, far left as possible, so that you know exactly where you're going to be screwing it in. And I'm going to use this smaller one here on the right, just to the right of the door handle. Line up the door so that the line that you've drawn meets the top of the window rubber, exactly where you traced it. Once you've got that in position, you can then start marking the door. It's important to mark the door from the angle you're going to be screwing in, because otherwise the angles will be slightly off and the window will probably be a bit too low, and the line will be lower than it should, rather than where it's supposed to be on the rubber. The far left, draw, just time to drill. I've got a bolt and some washers and a couple of nuts. That will do for now. Like I said, I need some longer bolts to get this window in place properly, but for now that'll do to secure the polycarbonate windows in place. So now that we've drilled the holes in the window, we can use the existing holes here and here to fix the window in place. So the idea is that I'm going to put a bolt through here, and then a nut to hold that in place, and then a nut on the other end to hold it against the window with the smaller washer. All right, that's one done. So those two bolts are in. Got one here, one here. You can see it. Oops, you can see it. Maybe it's better this side. See it through the window there, and through the window there. There you have one polycarbonate window. Except obviously, if I get those longer bolts, I can adjust this to hold it in place, or you can get those aluminium retaining rods, but for now it'll have to do. Might have to tape that up temporarily until I can get those longer bolts. For now, there we go, one polycarbonate window. Slightly sticking out, but shatterproof, much lighter. The lightness of this door now is really noticeable. I'll get the door card back on, and should all be all set to go. one non-functioning window switch. But polycarbonate windows done. Almost done. It's feeling nice and light. Just what the doctor ordered. So times this weight saving by 4, and that'll add up to a decent weight saving. Hello again. You join me while I try and fix this polycarbonate window that is sticking out somewhat. The idea is to get some longer screws to put in the bottom, which is going to push this way at the bottom of the window, which will then push the top in more. So 2 screws that are longer than the ones I had, because I only had short screws before, and that will hopefully hold the window in. It does need to go up a centimetre or so, because this needs to be really pressed up against the rubber, being a frameless door like this glass one, to really hold that window against the frame. So that's the plan. It still might not hold, but if it doesn't, we'll have to try something else. But for now, I'm going to try with some longer screws, take it for a test drive and see if they pop out. They might do, so I'll have to think of another solution, but let's see if this actually works for now. Thank you very much for watching the video. Now it's time for a shameless like and subscribe request. 99.8% of you who are watching are not subscribed to the channel. The more people who subscribe, the better this channel will get and the better quality videos I can bring to you guys. So please like and subscribe. I know who you are. I don't really, but I'd really appreciate it. Okay, problem number 1. I put the door card back on, so first job is to get that off again. Ta-da! Another day, another haircut. I've drilled the holes in this, well, I've marked where I need to drill the holes. Need to be half a centimetre down in this window, so let's get drilling. Okay, here's where the fun starts. So I've got an M8 60mm bolt, and you're going to need 2 of these. So get the M8 bolt, you're going to need a washer at the start to pinch it onto the door frame, and then another bolt and a washer, so this side secures it to the door frame. And then on the other end, you're going to have 2 more nuts and 2 more washers, and in between this is where the window is going to sit, and that allows you to adjust the window back and forth so that you get more leverage and push on it to either push more against the window or push less against the window frame. So these are 60mm in length, so that should be enough leverage to get the window to push flush up against the rubbers and seal it against the door. So let's give that a go. What I'm really trying to achieve here is to get the polycarbonate window sat up against the frame without those aluminium window supports that you can get, or without riveting the whole window in. I still want the car to be usable just with polycarbonate windows, so still want to be able to open this door without having those aluminium braces pulling in from the inside. They tend to just pull against the door, two poles here, and they'll pull this window in from the inside, which isn't terrible, just a bit of extra weight, and if I can get away with not using them, then let's give it a go. If not, I might have to fit them. I'll really know when I drive this thing down the motorway and see if these tend to get sucked out. They tend to get sucked out under the air pressure, so we'll see what we can do. Now it's adjustment time, so let's get to it. All right, I think that's a wrap. Polycarbonate window fitted. Just need to get this right into the rubber, as I mentioned, but it's holding firm for now. Frameless polycarbonate window done. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Cruise Garage. If you made it to the end, congratulations. You're either fitting polycarbonate windows or really interested in how Imprezas are made up, or fitting polycarbonate windows to any other car, or just seeing how rally cars do it. But yeah, both windows are fitted. But yeah, thanks for watching this episode. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode of Cruise Garage. Catch you later.